welcome back. And we are here with a very special guest, joined by Jason Ganal of GQue BBQ. How are you doing, Jason?
Hi, good, thanks. Thanks for having me down.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to speak for Ashley and say that we have been looking forward to this segment, maybe more, no disrespect to our guests, but we've been looking forward to this all day. All week.
Look at us.
Right?
Oh, we've had a little mishap here.
We've had a little mishap. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me plug you back in. This is live TV, folks.
That's right.
That's right. Well,
focus on the food, everybody.
All right, here we go.
Plug you back in here. Okay, here we go.
There it is.
So,
okay, that's what
Jason, don't worry about
happens
this clown.
live
He shows up every now and then.
Of course.
See, you put. In fact, while we're here,
Thanks, Chris.
Grab like a chip or something like that while we're here.
That's right.
Okay, interview, please.
Keep interviewing.
Ashley, don't feel bad. You set barbecue next to people and strange things happen.
That's
so
right.
don't worry.
That's how it
Really,
works.
does.
That's how it works.
Exactly.
Jason,
That's the fan.
tell us what we've got. Tell us about GQue BBQ.
Yeah, well, GQue BBQ is a barbecue restaurant up in Westminster. So what makes us unique is everything we make is same day. So we set out, we make a whole bunch of food, we start serving at 11 a.m. and then when it's all gone for the day, it's all gone. So when you know you come to our restaurant, you're going to get food that's cooked straight out of the pit. It goes right to the tray, it goes right to your mouth.
I love it. I love the tray setup too.
Yeah, that looks great. So how'd you get into this?
So I'm originally from Missouri, and I love barbecue. I ate barbecue 3-4 times a week, probably in my early 20s, and I moved out to Colorado, and I don't consider myself a barbecue snob at all. I can eat all kinds of barbecue as long as it's cooked well and not over sauce. And in my quest to find good barbecue out here 11 to 12 years ago, I stumbled across these professional barbecue contests. The Kansas City Barbecue Society sanctions professional contests. And I thought it'd be great if I became a judge and judged these professional barbecue contests. So I started judging these contests and fell in love with the whole competition barbecue scene and circuit. So then after judging for about 2 years, I started competing, and I competed for about 3 or 4 years. And then after competing, I saw some guys opening up their own restaurants in different cities across the United States, and I always thought that seemed like a lot of fun. So against the advice of others, I decided to open up our own barbecue place, and that's where we are. We're coming up with our 2-year anniversary this November.
Very cool. All right.
Awesome. Well, okay. So how do you become a judge? How do you become a judge of barbecue? I'd like to know.
Yeah, that's right.
Super easy. All you have to do is have an opinion on what's good and what's not, right?
Okay.
And then you go to a one-day certification class where they teach you just a lot of little things about texture and a lot of little things as far as proper presentation in a box, so it's not showing any types of disqualifications.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then you just show up and eat the meat and give it a score. Pretty easy.
So do you have to fast for 2 or 3 days before judging a contest? Just
No,
to, like...
but you do have to get in a wheelbarrow and get wheelbarrowed out to your car after the contest. Because you will. Judges will eat. They eat 4 categories. So they'll eat chicken, they'll eat ribs, they'll eat pork, and they'll eat brisket. And they're eating 6 entries for each one of those categories. So it's not uncommon for a judge to eat 2 to 2.5 pounds of meat per contest.
Wow.
So yeah, I have not seen wheelbarrow service, but that would be a good idea at these events for the judges, right?
Right.
Sounds like we might need it. 2 pounds of meat. Well, okay, so what do we have before us?
Yeah, so today we've got all kinds of crazy sandwiches in the restaurant. This is called the Carolina. So it's just our apple coleslaw, which is a sweet vinegar-based dressing, tart Granny Smith apples, some shredded cabbage, some carrots, and we put that over our pulled pork shoulder. So the pork shoulder we smoke over hickory wood. I have it all trucked in from eastern Kansas. It's all pesticide free. It smokes for 12 to 14 hours, and then we pull it, we put some of our rub on it, and then top it with the coleslaw.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Carolina?
It's called Carolina, but I mean, the only reason we call it Carolina is because it's a vinegar-based slaw and it doesn't have mayonnaise in it. Mm-hmm. But Carolina also has distinct variations of different types of preferences with barbecue. So it's not just all-encompassing right style. And our barbecue isn't any particular style. I like to tell people, because I get asked that a lot, hey, what kind of style? Is it Kansas City? Is it Texas? Is it Memphis? Is it Carolina?
Yep.
And it's competition style. So this is the same kind of barbecue that we cooked when we were out in the competition circuit for several years that we're now bringing out to Denver.
All right.
Okay, I have to interrupt again because well, this is actually an excuse. I need to get your phone because you said take pictures. So I'm going to take some pictures, but it was also to get another chip because these are awesome. And so I'll be thanks.
Yeah. We'll occasionally have to deal with little interruptions, I guess, on this program. So you said before you actually took the leap and started this business, here we are at Denver Startup Week. This place is teeming with entrepreneurs who are in some stage of, should I start a business? Should I dive in? And, the stats of failure for restaurants are pretty well known. They don't succeed a lot. So what gave you the confidence that you could pull this off and make this a successful business?
That's a great question, and that's something I try to identify as what is like the secret to our success, right? This is the third business I started, so I learned of what it's like to kind of run your own business. But the restaurant world was completely new to me. I'd worked in restaurants from the time I was 13. I started out as a busboy, probably all the way up to about 23, 24 bartending. So I had a good feel for what restaurant life was like. I mean, I was always service industry from 13 to 23, but I never owned a restaurant since. Knowing how to barbecue and knowing proper systems and knowing how to look at a P&L and make sure that you're profitable so you can pay your employees wages that they want to come to work so they're happy to work and put out good product is super important. And I think the combination of having that 10 years of service life and having opened a restaurant before kind of gave me a little bit of an edge over first-time restaurateurs.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Was it tough to get into the restaurant thing though?
It's tough to find a landlord that wants to lease you a place for the first time.
Right.
They much rather have Qdoba's, Chipotle's, places like that because the turnover is so high. So we had to put a pretty hefty security deposit down because they were expecting us to fail. And every restaurant that's been in our location, it's a 20-year-old building that we're in, and every restaurant that's been in there hasn't lasted more than 2 years. So we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary, so I'm hoping we're going to get it last another 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Set a new record
well,
there.
Now that we know that you're by us, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right. You can. Don't worry about it.
Because you're based up in Westminster?
Yeah, up in Westminster.
Okay.
So right on the border of Westminster and Broomfield at 120th and Sheridan.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So right by
And
our
if you can
offices.
get to the parking lot, you can smell the smoke and you can figure out exactly where
and you'll
we're
come
at.
right to it.
Even if you can get to the stoplight right there at 120th and Sheridan, if your window's down on a nice day, you can probably smell the smoke and it'll guide you right.
Now you said once you're out of food for the day, you're out of food. So you don't reheat. So what's usually the good time? If we show up after this time, you might be out of luck.
Yeah, if you can get there, the weekends get a little more unpredictable because people will come in and they'll get large orders to go. But during the week, if you can get there usually any time before 7 o'clock, you can pretty much get any item. We don't want to run out. It's bad business to run out of food at 4:30, 5 o'clock, right? We want to sell as much food as possible without having leftovers the next day. So if there's anybody out here watching that has some kind of formula to do that, I'm all ears, right? So we want to run out anywhere between 7 to 8:30. We're okay starting to lose an item, and then by 8:30, we're happy to be out of all the meats.
Right.
I mean, have you ever had a problem with that though? It's almost like the just in time.
Yeah,
so if something kind of goes wrong,
people get really frustrated with it. I mean, I think 10 years from now, it's going to be really common to see places like this. But right now, people show up at 7:15. If they want pulled pork, they want pulled pork.
Right.
And when you don't have it, they get very angry and they get very upset. And I think the people who understand what we're doing and what we're trying to do appreciate that, so they don't mind it. Maybe they come a little bit earlier. But for a lot of people, for their first time in, no, they do get upset.
Yeah.
So what would be your one nugget of advice? We've got some people in this base camp here in Endeavor Startup Week who might be thinking about starting a restaurant. What's kind of your nugget of advice, in terms of getting into it and making that decision and trying to make it work?
Yeah, I think just surrounding yourself with really good people, knowledgeable people, cheerleaders, inspirational people, having different types of people that you can lean on when you need just a pick-me-up, when you need just someone who's been there before, and then maybe you can learn from the mistakes that they made so you don't have to make them. But just having a really good network of people that you can pick up the phone and call with any questions or anything like that. There's probably 8 or 10 guys right now all throughout the United States that are opening up barbecue restaurants. So I love taking their calls. I love hearing about the problems they're having with site selections, with build out, with staffing and all that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of people enjoy helping other people. So trying to find those people who could enjoy helping you, I think, is really important.
Right. I would love to talk to you for another half an hour or so, but I can't stand it anymore.
Yes, it's time to eat, so we need to wrap this segment up.
That's right.
And yes. I keep coming back. There's a reason I keep coming back to the set. So,
we're pulling him to get him on camera, and here he is. Well, put some barbecue down.
Jason Grinnell, GQue BBQ, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us on.
And one more time, the location of the restaurant?
120th and Sheridan, up in Westminster, Colorado.
All right, I think you will see us there.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Can't wait.
Monday.
Tonight, probably.
That's right.
Exactly.
Okay.
We'll cook extra food that day.
All right, that sounds good.
Exactly.
We'll be back after this time out because it's lunchtime.
That's right.